The council chamber fell silent as Alexa entered. Her small frame seemed almost fragile against the towering Zenthri warriors, who lined the metal walls, their scales gleaming under the harsh artificial lights of the warship. She walked with measured steps, her human features a stark contrast to the reptilian faces that watched her with barely concealed contempt. The human, General Vexither hissed, his forked tongue flickering between razor-sharp teeth. How amusing that Earth sends us their weakest as an ambassador. Laughter rippled through the chamber. Alexa stood in the center, her hands clasped behind her back, her expression unreadable. She had heard it all before: the jokes about human fragility, their thin skin, their dependence on a narrow band of temperature and atmosphere to survive. In a galaxy filled with species that could breathe methane, withstand crushing gravity, or regenerate lost limbs, humans seemed laughably delicate. "General," Alexa said quietly, her voice cutting through the mockery like a blade through silk, "I come bearing Earth's response to your ultimatum." Vexither leaned forward on his command throne, his eyes narrowing. "And what does your pitiful planet offer?" "Surrender. We have given you one rotation to comply. Your world will make an excellent farming colony once we've removed the current inhabitants." Alexa reached into her jacket slowly, and immediately a dozen plasma rifles trained on her. She paused, then carefully withdrew a small data chip. "May I?" The general waved a clawed hand dismissively. A Zenthri technician approached, snatched the chip from her palm, and inserted it into the holographic display system. Words appeared in the air, glowing blue against the darkness. Declined. The chamber erupted in roars of laughter and aggressive posturing. Warriors slammed their weapons against the floor, creating a thunderous rhythm of anticipated violence. "You refuse?" Vexither stood, his massive form towering over Alexa. "You suicidal little creature. Do you not understand what we are? The Zenthri Imperium has conquered 47 systems. We have crushed civilizations that make your Earth look like a child's playground. And you refuse?" Alexa looked up at him, and for the first time, she smiled. It was not a kind smile. "General, you've made a mistake. Several, actually. And what mistake is that, pray?" His voice dripped with venom. "You assumed that weakness and strength are measured the same way across all species." Alexa's voice remained calm, almost conversational. "You see our thin skin and think fragility. You see our need for specific conditions and think dependence. You see our small stature and think inferior." She began to pace slowly, and the rifles followed her movement. "But you didn't ask the important question. Why would a species so weak survive long enough to reach the stars?" Vexither's eyes narrowed. "Get to your point, human." "The point, General, is that you've been broadcasting your fleet's position for the last 3 minutes. Your shields are down for this diplomatic meeting, as per protocol, and my partner has been in position since before I arrived." The general's expression shifted from amusement to alarm. "What?" The lights died. Emergency systems kicked in, bathing the chamber in red. Alexa dove to the floor as chaos erupted. Through the viewports, massive explosions blossomed like deadly flowers across the Zenthri fleet. Ship after ship buckled under precise, devastating strikes. "Nox sends his regards." Alexa whispered to herself, 3,000 kilometers away. Nox floated in the cold darkness of space, his human body encased in a stealth suit that bent light around him like water. In his hands, he held the trigger to humanity's most terrible secret. The Zenthri had mocked human weakness, never realizing that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their bodies, it was their minds. Nox had spent 6 months infiltrating Zenthri space, learning their systems, their protocols, their arrogance. He had planted dormant code in their networks, microscopic drones in their ship hulls, and quantum-entangled explosives in their ammunition stores, all waiting for one signal. Alexa's biometric signature, transmitted the moment she entered that council chamber. "I'm sorry," Nox said quietly, watching the fleet tear itself apart, "but you should have accepted the peace offer." Alexa stood in the darkness of the dying warship, her enhanced vision allowing her to see perfectly. The Zenthri warriors stumbled and roared, their confidence evaporating as their technology failed them. "You see," she said, her voice amplified by her suit's systems, "humans are persistence hunters. We don't give up, we track, we plan, we wait, and when the moment is right, we strike. General Vexither lunged toward her voice, but she was already moving. Her weakness, her small size made her fast, agile. She slipped past his claws, past the confused warriors, and toward the escape pods. "You wanted to make Earth a farming colony," she called back, "but you forgot something important about farmers. We're very good at removing pests." She sealed herself in a pod and jettisoned. Through the porthole, she watched the Zenthri flagship break apart, its core reactor destabilizing. Nox's handiwork, her communicator crackled. "Alexa, you clear?" "Clear, Nox. Rendezvous point Epsilon. Already en route." "Think they got the message." Alexa looked at the spreading debris field, at the few surviving Zenthri ships desperately trying to jump to FTL, only to find their drives compromised by Nox's code. "I think so," she said softly. "Earth doesn't look so weak now, does it?" The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The Zenthri Imperium, one of the most feared military powers in known space, had been crippled by dehumans. Two species that had once dismissed humanity began to reconsider. The frail, fragile humans, who couldn't survive without their precious oxygen and narrow temperature ranges, had proven something terrifying. Physical strength meant nothing against intelligence, patience, and the absolute refusal to be prey. Alexa and Nox returned to Earth as heroes, but they took no pleasure in it. They had done what was necessary. They had protected their home, and they had sent a message to the stars: mock humanity's weakness at your peril. Because humanity's doom is not in their bodies, it's in their unbreakable will to survive, adapt, and overcome. And that, the galaxy learned, was the most dangerous strength of all.